Okay, today I'm going to walk you through doing the textbook, Word Chapter 1 textbook project. So we're in modules. What I'm talking about right here is this Word textbook project. So it's Word Module 1 SAM textbook project. So first we got to get to Mind tab. So go to Mind tab and click this link. And now we log into Mind tab. Just didn't like my password. Try that again. I changed it. There we go. Come on, sign in. It'll take a little while. So as I'm logging into Mind tab, I've actually got a hard copy of the textbook. I'll show you how to use electronic copy of the textbook too. So when I come down, my class is a little different than yours, but anyway, I entered the class. Once I come into the class, no. Grab a syllabus language that saves. I don't care about that. Anyway, now I'm going to go into a date. This is the most important thing, this rolling week, so I can see today's assignment, which today is January 9th, this textbook project. So I'm going to open this up. What I'll see is 3 files here. Now I'm on the campus when I go to start this, and I'll see I can submit this 3 times for scores. So first thing, this is electronic textbook here. This is the file I'm going to be working with, and then this is a picture that we have to insert. I have this saved on the K drive already, but if I want to keep this, when I open this up, instead of opening up, you need to save it, and where it'll go to is down here in your downloads. If you're in Chrome, and Firefox will ask you and hit save, and if I go look, it'll be down here in downloads, and it'll open the picture up, but I don't need to open it, I just need to make sure I know where it is. So anyway, I'm going to open this new document up. Now, one thing about this Word document, if I hit continue here, this is the name this file has to be when I submit it for a grade. So you don't want to grab the .docx. I just want to highlight, and I took my mouse and I highlight this first part of this name, and while I'm on this blue, I'm going to right click and copy that name. Now I'm going to go back because this is where I started from. I could have stayed there either too. This is where we're going to turn it in. But anyway, now I need to open this Word file down here at the bottom. When I open up this Word file, the first thing I need to do is go save this. So I go to Enable Editing. I come up here to File, Save As. And the only place I can save on these computers are on the K drive assignments, otherwise they'll get deleted. And some of these assignments you might have to work on a day or two. So when I go to Browse here, I'm going to come down to this PC. So come in, you'll have to click this PC to expand them out. You'll come down to the K drive. So down here will be a K drive. It'll say Common, something. And then I come down to Assignments, File Saved Here, Not Secure, and then in CS110 Ag 108, and I have built a folder in here, and you can build one too. So I come into here, and I can come down and find my folder, which I do not see it right off. There's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So I'm going to build a new folder. I'll call it Gerald Sampson. So I make a folder, make sure I'm inside that folder before I go save. Now I'm going to put this new file name. What I did, I click this once, and I right-click and paste that new name. So this has to be the name of the file. Doesn't matter what the book tells me. This is what it has to be when I get all done. So I'm going to save it as that. Okay, so there, on WD1 of your book, they show you how to start this. So now I need just, I have 2 screens. I'm going to show you, I'm going to move this over the other screen. So back here, I need to go back and click on this book, this electronic book. When I open this up, it'll take me right into the book. And if this doesn't pop up, there'll be a little pop-up blocker up here. There'll be a little red Lego icon will tell me, so I have to click, or else down here it'll say allow once or allow always. So you have to allow pop-ups. So if you have a pop-up blocker at home, it'll block this. Anyway, what it does, it shows me what, this is the document I'm going to make. Here's what it should look like when we're all done. So when I come in here, it's going to tell me start Word, format the text, blah, blah, blah. And I just go on until I get to the first step. A lot of this is just reading resolution on your screen. You can change your screen resolution to match the book. I'm not going to worry about that. They go down here and they show you how to start Word, which we really don't need because I already had the Word program. It started up. It talks about scroll bars, word wrap. All this information here is about just where you're finding pictures and that. It's not until you find the first red step. So display different tabs on the ribbon. Goes across, talks about that stuff. And finally, clear over here. WD14D adjust margins. Now, if you get lost in the book, there's a little icon up here, and I could have just went down here, start using Word to start create a blank document. And remember, WD14 was the first one, so you can always jump around inside the book. But this is where we want to start. So what it wants me to do now is go in here, and I'm going to move the book the other side. You won't be seeing the book. What you'll be seeing is my working on this. So first thing we're going to do, we have to be the layout tab. That's these ribbons across it was talking about. And it wants us to go into the margins. And so it talks a little bit about going up here and then come down to the margins. And on this page, we want to come down and use what's called narrow. So that's the first step. They did talk about before this, if you have printed, going up here to view. And I was going to view in just one page. You see how they get? I like page width and clear across. So it may not look exactly like theirs, but then it makes everything bigger. So I can see what I'm doing. Anyway, with that done, I went up there to layout. I picked the narrow margins. Now I'm on WD 111 of the book. It wants me to go in here and type wash. Make sure I spell it right. Your hands. The exclamation point. And then it says press enter. So I press enter one time. It talks about going back up here in the view and zooming in, and I'm not going to do that. You can go to zoom here and do different things. You can go to page width. That's what I've already did because I always set mine to page width. Anyway, what they talk about now is going to this home ribbon and turning this backwards P on. I already had mine on. What this does is called the show hide. It shows me everywhere I place a paragraph, and every dot in here is a space. So if I print this, these will not show. This is what it would show like. But why you want this on is you can see how many times you pushed enter, too many times where you're actually at. Anyway, with that there, now we're going to type our first sentence. So this is called the headline, and this is our first sentence. So it's going to be washing your hands with soap and water can decrease outbreaks of food-borne illness because it can prevent spreading germs from your hands to food. Once we get to the end of that, now he wants us to press the enter. So I want to check. You want to check this really close. If you had a spelling break, let's say I spelt this like this, well, not like that, but just took that out. You get this red underline, and you can right-click and make sure. So you need to make sure that, like breaks, if that was just break, it would be totally wrong. But it is breaks. You want to make sure it's all spelled right. Sometimes I'll turn the backwards P just to check my spelling to look at the book. And I'm just making sure. And the biggest thing is spreading germs. This should go over to this line. It should just word wrapped. I didn't press enter. It should automatically go there. Anyway, now we're down here on this next line. It has me check the spelling and grammar and all that. Now we're going to go in with the insertion point there. We're going to type how, question mark. The next line, wet hands with clean. And they have you misspell this clean water to go figure out how to fix it. Now these are commas after these words and then a space. And apply soap, period. And then lather hands. And then shift 9, palms, backs, low nails, between fingers, around thumb, and then finally after thumbs, make sure it's thumbs, I put shift 0 to put that in there, and then space by rubbing them together with the soap. Next line, scrub hands for at least 20 seconds. Now this 4 should have been with a blue underline. You'll see once we check grammar and spelling, that's where it's going to put that blue underline that the book shows. And then rinse soap off of hands under clean, comma, running water. Great. Finally, dry hands well using towel or a, oh, they have me do or twice, and air dryer. Now, you don't have to make these mistakes. Not like I might be wrong if you typed it correctly. So, dryer, if I learn how to spell dryer. 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 You get it close enough, when you right-click, it'll give you choices, and so right-click that. Anyway, it talks about typing these lines. Now it tells us to right-click the words. This 4 over here won't be right. It doesn't find under the graphics. So this should be an actual 4. So be careful of that. If I went up here to review and told to check the spelling and grammar, it'd go fix these. So like this one, you want to delete it, and I could just right-click on it and delete the repeated words. So you fix that way. You don't have to go over here through proofing. This one should be clean. And then this 4 here at the end, it's got to be just FOR. So, you know, I'll look at that. And then I add 2 spaces down here. Make sure I fix that. When it's all said and done, on the next page, so when I come over here to the book, I want to make sure when I go over here, they show me what it looks like after it's all typed. So I'm clear over here. Guess I should have went clear over to proofing. That's what I should have did. You know what I am. I'm going to go in here. It has me enter more text, type the text, word wrap, spelling, grammar check. So this is where I was. Went down through the corrections, zooming correction. And so this is where my mistakes were for. And then it'll finally show you what it all looks like when it's said and done. And so I'm just making sure my words match theirs right here. And so I check that. Looks like theirs. So to enter more text is now where I'm at. So I'll move this back out of the way. So right here behind this dryer, make sure I'm right against the period. And then with the insertion point at the end of the last line, hit your enter key. So the last line of text on with the insertion point blank line, press enter to insert blank line document above the insertion point, and then scroll to the L. Now at the point position, type when. So now I got to type when, question mark. And then all the lines that the book shows after eating, comma, coffee, comma, and after preparing, eating, coffee, and sneezing. I jumped down a line. Dang it. Sneezing, comma, or using tissue, and that's the end of the line. Now it tells me to press enter, and they did not show a period in these. So these are going to be a bulleted list. Now, the next line is before, during, comma, and after preparing food. And then after using or assisting someone in the restroom. I've never assisted someone in the restroom. After touching an animal, dog would be offended. Animal feed, dog eats better than I do. Or animal waste. Once again, not my job description. Okay, now after handling dirty equipment or garbage. And then the last line here is visit www.foodworkers.com for additional hand washing tips. This does have a period at the end of this line. Also, this is a hyperlink. Should have went in. So if you didn't go in, you had spaces in there or something. You want to make sure that hyperlink is there. We'll end up taking it out anyway. So at this point, I'm going to go up here and save this. Now I've saved this before with the right name. So all I have to do is hit the save icon right up here in the top left corner. He talks about going through and saving different locations. If you hadn't saved up this point, where you would go to save it. And now we're going to go ahead and start formatting this paragraph. going to start changing themes and put some deals. So the first thing we're going to do is change the office theme in this document. I always start at the top. I don't know why. Make sure I'm top. And they tell you to press Control Home to get to the top of the document. Anyway, we come under Design over here, and we have different themes in here. And so what they want us to do is find the slate. Now there's a ton of them in here. You might have to scroll down. You'll see they're in alphabetical order. So it might look different than what they show in the book. So slate is right here. And I look over there and see that this is turned to orange down here. So that's good. That's what slate looked like and what his looks like. Now with this still selected in front of wash your hands, I want to make sure I'm there. We hit the center button. So under the home ribbon, here's the center button to center that wash your hands. So we've got that centered. Now what they want me to do is click on somewhere in the paragraph be centered. In this case, the second paragraph of the flyer. So that's another nice thing about having these backwards P, because I can see this one to this second paragraph. So I have to just be somewhere in that second paragraph. And they want me to hit the center button on that. Now with the pointer is a right pointing arrow. So if we come over here, we get this tilted in arrow. And that's what we can select. So we want to click the mouse button to select the entire line. So if I click this mouse button, it'll select the entire line. Actually, I need to be up one line. I want this wash your hands. So most of you guys would go like this, what I'm trying to explain. Instead, if you're just in your document, come over here, this arrow tilts in, I click once, it highlights that line. With that selected, we're going to go up here to home, and we're going to change the font size right here. So when we pull this down, they show that we want to go to 36. So the wash your hands is 36. They also want to change the font style. And so it shows as Castilla Callisto MT, and they want us to have Rockwell bold. So tip, when you first click there, I started typing Rockwell. They'll take me down to Rockwell, and I have used extra bold before, but what it should have done is kick me down this list down here instead of scrolling clear down to Rockwell. You want to make sure there's different Rockwells in here that you get the extra bold in here. So now you have the Rockwell extra bold in this document for that header. So now with the text still selected, we're going to change the case. This is where most students really struggle on the test. The change case button is this A, big A, little a up here. And so we pull this down here, and we want to make everything uppercase. So I'll make all the letters, change all our letters from lowercase all to uppercase. And that's why I want to make sure we have the whole line selected. Now, also, we're going to use a type effect. So with the text still selected, we're going to go to what's called text effects, and that's this blue button here. And so when we pull this down, the text effect they want us to apply is called Fill White, Outline Brown, Accent Color 1, Glow Brown, Accent Color 1 Text Effect. Just a big tip, it's the 8th one over. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe it's the 9th one over. I apologize. This one. So Fill White, Outline Brown, Accent Color 1. If you do not have this, you missed the step where you should have went to Design. So back here, we went to Design and changed this down to Slate. You missed that step. But anyway, I do have it, so I'm going to go into Home, come in here, Text Effect, come in here and pick that text effect. Now, we're going to click somewhere in the paragraph, anywhere in this paragraph, doesn't matter, and we're going to click the shading arrow. So the shading arrow, when we click somewhere in the paragraph to do the shading arrow, this is our shading, and we pull this down, and we're going to point to various colors of shading. Now, one thing, if we click, he wants us to go through this and pick different ones, but once the brown accent color 25%, which he shows is right over here, it should be this one here, and if I hold it there, brown accent 4, darker 25% be selected. So I want to make sure that's the color. And so that's why those clear across is shaded that all the way across. Now move the pointer into the second paragraph. So it tells me to be into the second paragraph, be selected, and then triple click the mouse. So what they want us to do is select this. I would never use triple click. I can, 1, 2, 3. You just have to do it fast. If you do it too fast, it goes too much, just click it again. They want us to select that. Normally, I just go out here, hold my mouse down, and drag down over here to select that paragraph. But one way or the other, as long as it's selected, we're going to go up here and we're going to change the font color. The font color is this red A right here. And we pull this down. It wants us to pick a font color, which is red accent 5, darker 25%. This one right here. So we have picked that font color. And they say you pick different colors and shines, but make sure that's the one you have in the end. Now we're going to change the font size. So we're going to click this still highlighted. We're going to come up here from 11 and go to 22. So now I can click anywhere in the document window to remove the selection off our text. So yours should look just like mine. Now it's going to talk again about zooming in, zooming out so you can see the whole thing. And that's down here at the bottom. I zoom in out down here in the bottom right corner. But anyway, they want us to select multiple lines. You want to be really careful of this because when you select these, I'm right outside how, tilted in. I'm dragging straight down. You do not want to get this last line. So I'm keeping my mouse pressed down, not letting go until I get exactly the right lines. So do not get that last line that says visit www.foodworkers.com. So you should have highlighted from how to after handling dirty garbage, equipment or garbage. With these selected, the first thing we're going to do is change the font size to 20. So pull this 11 down, change it to 20. Okay. And then we're going to click off this. Now we're going to go in and put some numbering and bullets. So now we're going to come over here and highlight from wet hands to dry. Do not get the when, so don't want the how or when. We're going to come up here and we're going to put a number format, which is this number one here. If you screwed up and did the wrong thing, there's an undo button right here. You can undo your last step. In fact, you can go back and see all the steps. I can go undo. I don't want to do that. So if you click this, that's the one we want to put on this numbered sys. So we click the numbering button. Now we're going to go down here and highlight. I'm scrolling down. I want after eating and highlighting these, and these we want to put bullets in. The bullets are right here. Once again, you want to make sure you don't have when and you don't have visit highlighted, just these lines. So there's the bullets for that. Now I can click anywhere in the document window to remove the bullets. Now he's going to have us come down here and right-click this hyperlink. So not left-click, but right-click here. Bring up this shortcut menu, contextual menu is what it is. And then click the Remove Hyperlink button. So we're going to remove this hyperlink so it doesn't take you to a website from that. And then it says, click the remove. Now center another paragraph. Click somewhere that could be centered. In this case, signature line. So this is the signature line. I'm already in it, and we want to center it. So the headline's the first line, signature line's the last line. So we've centered that. Now we need to highlight this. So I come over here and get my pointer outside here so it's tilted into the right so I can highlight that whole line. And then we want to change the font size. They show using this mini toolbar. I always do it up here. I don't use the mini toolbar. They want me to change it to 18. So I've changed the font size of that to 18. Now with the text still selected, they want us to display the font color. So see how that mini toolbar went away and he shows using it. I don't. I go up here, the font color, remember, was this. And the nice thing about the font color, remember the last color we used, and it wants us to use the same color, brown, so I can just click on it and it'll do the brown automatically. What it did was went in there and picked that last color I used. I'm sorry, it was red accent 5. I'll check to make sure that's what they wanted. So red accent 5, darker 25%. So yep, red accent 5, so yep. And usually you always use the same font colors throughout your document. So that got that right, red accent 5, darker. Now to select groups of words. So they want us to go in here and just select, I clicked off once, turn off, additional hand washing tips, and do not want the period. So you just want, and you can zoom in if you have a hard time doing this, to make sure that you can see I just have from additional to tips, don't have the period selected. So now they with this text select, they want us to do the underline button.